loud, and it sounded like he was like in the back of like
airplane.
a pickup
He
truck
was
or
in the-
something.
He was in the back seat of the airplane. We will call this special city council meeting on Wednesday, January 10th of 2024 to order, and we'll start with the first item, roll call.
Burlingame,
Here.
Evans,
Here.
Janser, Janser, circle back. Olson, Pittner,
Here.
Padragula, Ross. Do we have Janser on?
Olson.
We need a fourth.
See if Olson's on.
Olson. Is Alderwoman Olson or Alderman Janser? You guys got your system muted?
Alderwoman Olson is in the chat, and she indicated at 12:41, I was not able to understand what was just said. If it's my Wi-Fi, I can log out.
Okay, we'll need someone else to get a quorum, so.
We need a fourth. Okay.
Oh,
no
okay,
problem.
okay.
Thank you.
Please hold.
Everyone, hold on a minute until we can get technical difficulties figured out. I see Alderman Padragula is entering here, so we will,
Oh, we have a quorum then.
Yep.
we'll have a
You made us a
quorum.
quorum. No, it's okay. Lisa and Mark are on the phone, but it hasn't come through yet, so we can proceed without them if you're here. Who wants to redo roll call or?
We'll let the record
I-
show at 12:47, Alderman Padragula joined the meeting, so we can move on
Apologies.
to item 2. That's fine, Steve. We'll move on to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
with
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
Sounds like we might have Alderman Janser, if you want to hit roll call again, just to see if they're with us. Kayla?
Okay. Burlingame,
Here.
Evans,
Here.
Janser,
Here,
Olson,
Here.
Pittner, Padragula.
Here. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, alcoholic beverage license renewals. It is recommended the city council approve the alcoholic beverage license renewals for the period of January 10th, 2024 through December 31st of 2024. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the alcohol beverage license renewals of those 10.
We've got a motion from Alderwoman Evans. Do we
I
have a
will second.
We got a second from Alderman Burlingame. Any discussion? Alderman Padragula.
I wanted to make a public apology to city staff and perhaps a constituent. I received a call last week from a person who said their license application hadn't been received in time. They had a very hard luck story. They said they were always the first or one of the first to submit their applications. It took everything had been taken care of, but it hadn't. And they were going to have a big packed weekend this weekend with events, and they wanted to have their license. And I expressed my sympathies, and I suggested they just ask the city clerk to schedule a special council meeting. I didn't know until I received the city manager's email, as I think all of us did a few days afterwards, pointing out that it wasn't that simple and that staff had to jump through a lot of hoops to finalize the licenses. I guess I took for granted that everything had been taken care of, and I didn't realize that inspections and things might be needed. I don't know if they were in this case or not, but apparently in other cases. So Harold cautioned us not to impose artificial constraints and pressures on staff. And if my suggestion of the constituent resulted in that, I really apologize. Again, I took it for granted that all that needed was a quick council meeting and a sign-off. I think we've had these situations in the past where the council has been more than happy to meet on short notice to facilitate an application of some sort or a grant or something like that. And I felt that was good customer service to try to expedite. It apparently was no fault of the constituent that his license didn't get processed in time. I don't know if it was lost in the mail or what. Hopefully our new system will alleviate that. I mean, ultimately, it is his responsibility to check that it was received in time. And I personally have been in those kinds of situations myself where I've sent in an application for something and it somehow hasn't been received, and it's up to me to check. The other side of it is I think we need to be very customer-friendly as a city and as a governing body, and we have a history of doing that. So I wanted to publicly explain that and apologize to Michaela and Harold and Kelly if they were somehow inconvenienced or pressured. That certainly was not my intent, but I think we do need to be responsive to citizens, and it seemed like we weren't able to do that because not of his negligence or our negligence, but it just happened, and that was why I had made the suggestion for a special meeting. They had quite a hard luck story, and they seemed to have been in the right, but occasionally things happen. So I wanted to apologize if what I suggested in any way put pressure on staff. I'm sorry. That was not my intent.
Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Evans?
Before we vote, I just want to, I know Michaela, our city clerk, and Brian Billingsley and his department, and Chief Klug really stepped up to make sure these 10 applications could be ready for this meeting. And so we appreciate that. I'm assuming the 10 licenses appreciate that as well. So thank you for prioritizing this for all of you.
Any other comments?
Thank you for mentioning that, Carrie. That makes it feel better that we are responsive.
Yeah.
President Bittner?
Yes. Alderwoman Olson.
Yes, thank you. So I certainly will be voting in favor of this, but I am concerned that we've had this situation this year. I'm not aware of this happening, at least in the last 13 years that I've been on the council. And so I'm hopeful in 2024 that the system is a little bit more efficient, and I would highly suggest to the alcohol ordinance committee that's going to be looking at this ordinance that perhaps we consider how we can make some efficiencies. And if it strictly is people just not getting applications in on time, that we would be considering a late fee starting in 2025.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Burlingame, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I mean, as often happens, if I sit back and let everybody else talk, they say all my good ideas because Carrie and Lisa both just said what my feelings were exactly. I think, thank you to the staff that were able to step up and put in extra hours and put in the work to get us to this point. But also, I would hate to see this continue to happen in the future, and I also would support some sort of a fine or some sort of a penalty or something if this continues, because it does create so much stress on everybody involved in it. So we want to have establishment get licensed and be open, but we can't be putting this extra pressure on everybody. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Alderman Burlingame. Michaela, question for you. Is there still open licenses that will need to be taken care of?
From my list, there are 2 in the system. One you guys probably will not see until May, which is the tracks, but the council had approved an extension on their license to May of 2024. The 6th bar is also in the system. I believe they have some construction things going on, so we're waiting for building to approve that after construction's complete. The last one I believe I have on my list is Hawthorne Suites, which took over new ownership, I think back in October is what I hear from our city auditor. So our internal auditor, actually, and I just got their contact information, so I will be reaching out to them.
Okay, thank you, Michaela. Yeah, I guess final comments for myself. The same thing, just to reiterate what everybody said, I think learning from this experience and making sure that there is a level of personal responsibility on license holders to make sure that their applications are in an appropriate time. I believe it's before the first meeting in December, the 1st of December, so that staff has adequate time to process these applications and make sure that staff has adequate time to get out there and do their inspections diligently. So again, I appreciate everybody's comments and being able to be amenable to these license holders to make sure that they aren't closed or without use of their license for any longer than they have to be. Any further comments on the item? No? One more call for comments? If not, call the roll.
Evans,
Yes.
Janser,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Pittner,
Yes.
Padragula,
Yes.
Burlingame.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. With that, we'll move on to item number 4, and that's adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to
So moved.
adjourn.
Motion by Alderwoman Evans, seconded by Alderman Janser. All in favor, say aye.
Right?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.